wobbles in my mouth. That's where the marbles are right now.
Does floor become just ground when you're outside?
Zoom, dude.
All I gotta say about that.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey-oh.
It feels weird to like start a show after we've started a show, but that's what happens.
Here we are again.
I mean, it's like when you turn up to a house party early, right? It's not a house party when you turn up, right? It's a party
Yeah, you
like
start,
an hour
you start
in.
setting up.
Yeah, like then it's a party. Like there's definitely like a time like it hits that point, and then you're like, oh,
it feels
okay.
It feels more like hosting a party than going to one if you show up early, because you're
Yeah,
like, oh, I can help
like
you set up
ask
and
you,
stuff,
like,
and people start rolling in.
Yeah. They'll
Yeah,
ask you
because
to
it's
like
not
go
like,
grab
all right, party
something.
starting. Yeah.
Yeah. If they ask you to do anything, you know it hasn't started yet. You're like, whoa, hold on a second. I came here to drink and have a good time. You're like,
yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm still putting out snacks and still like blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh cool, what should I do to help? Like, let's host this party, baby. Oh yeah.
I feel like we don't need to do a super formal interview just because we've already had Sammy on. So
Yeah, we know Sammy Snake. Sammy Snake is the guy behind Nova Rally, also the guy on screen right now that says Sammy Snake. And he's got a gangster style name, like old school like gangsters was like, hey, Sammy the Snake will take care of him. You ever get that? Like it's like Louis the Wrench, Sammy the Snake.
That's me. The Sammy Snake Mafia come after you. If you say anything bad about me on Telegram, I see everything. They'll send people around.
Is there like an etymology to the name? Is there like an origin story for Sammy Snake?
You've already asked him this on this podcast.
Did you ask me on this podcast? It's a terrible story. It's just like
it's not a good story. It's not a good question.
There's nothing good. I don't even like.
There's no real story. You just picked like a random name, basically.
I don't even like snakes. Like. It just stuck, and then I quite like it. And then the snakes is kind of funny. The snakes have grown on me definitely since I started obviously going by Sammy Snake. But maybe I'll get a snake one day. Maybe that'll be the turning point where I might actually love the snakes. But I could take or leave the snakes, to be honest.
You can have it just like on your shoulder when you're
like as a fashion statement. It has to be a snake that is on your person, not just in a cage.
Yeah, just hanging out. And then people will be like, oh yeah, that's Sammy the Snake, of course. And then Sammy Snake with Sammy the Snake are on his shoulder.
Yeah, you're also going to name your snake Sammy. That'll be super good.
I think, then people would come around and be like, why have you called the snake after yourself? And he's like, listen, don't ask. Don't ask.
Oh, it sounds like you're getting a snake tattoo on the millionth Nova Rally race. I'm hearing in the chat here.
Sure, why not? Sure, why not?
That's canon now. It's committed.
That's the key. You always agree to stuff and they'll forget.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, since the last time we saw, we did talk about the Sammy Snake thing. I'm just too stoned to remember. But since the last time we saw, it was like the game was very like text side, like transaction based.
I mean, it's still that the 3D stuff hasn't come out yet, but
yeah. But that's the thing is like you have been releasing like teasers and stuff about this 3D gameplay, and it looks freaking awesome. And I know we were talking about before we like launched like Zrun a little bit. So Zrun's like another racing game on Polygon Network that does horse racing in a straight line that I play a little bit. It's it's fun. It has its problems, but this is like well beyond what they've done with Zrun in that the courses that you're racing on, the racers themselves are basically being piloted by, you gotta correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's like neural network kind of AI that's learning the tracks every time that they run. So kind of like as the racers keep racing, the cars should get better and better at the tracks too, right?
Well, in order to do the simulation, we do like the neural network stuff, and they learn how to drive on the track. You don't want them to increase too much in skill, obviously, because then if it becomes a perfect race, they take the perfect racing line. There's no excitement. So what you do is you stop the training at a certain point, and then all of the cars, like we have a physics engine, so all of the cars have factors, right, that we can change the numbers in. And what we do is we link up the attributes of your NFTs to what actually makes the car drive a little bit more aggressively or you know, increase the torque or increase the speed depending on what car you're in, and that way you get an output that every single car drives differently. So it like a really funny like thing is like you take. So we did the 3D models for Nova Rally just like in the NFTs. Originally we were just like, well, we're not going to show really how this is going to go, but we'll make the cars 3D. And we did the proper 3D models. And actually, we can import these 3D models that we did a while back from the NFTs into the engine. It takes the total mass, the total volume of that 3D model, and then that translates to how heavy it is in the engine. So again, like immediately when you put it in, it will drive differently to another car. And they all learn how to drive. And then the idea is that your NFTs will influence how they drive on the track. So if you put in a more aggressive character, it should go for more overtakes. It's a pretty complex system done by two basically geniuses. Guys, they're called Reality Boffins. They're a company in the UK, and I met them through Crittercraft Gaz, who does the Grubfish. Actually, he recommended them to me, and they're just amazing. And they have like a real passion for it as well. Because like, I think the danger, I think what you're going to see is like a lot of companies get all this NFT money, you know, this fuck you NFT money to build their games, right? And they just go on like some contractor websites, and you know, you just find like anyone and anyone, like you don't know what you're doing. And I feel like there's a real danger of some big collections being parted with a lot of money by like contractors. So you really do have to find people that you trust to work on your games. So, because some of the stuff I see get put out, I'm just like it looks like someone off of like Fiverr or low end like Upwork did like some Unity development for some games, but because of the standards are so low, like, and we're used to like 2D stuff, like people are like, wow, like looks amazing. And then so really like on the graphics side, like you know, not aiming to be the, you know, so the fact that it's a simulation obviously means that we can have better graphics, but like obviously I'm not aiming to be Gran Turismo here, you know, but it's more the combination of like looking to do a fun aesthetic, looking to do a way that you can influence the way that you drive, and then offer enough in-game content to keep people interested and engaged. So like special animations when you win and things like that. And I think that overall experience will be a game worth playing, rather than because there's gonna be like hundreds. I already see them 100 of racing-based blockchain games, because it's a perfect setup, right? You know?
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
Like what type of thing can you take an input from and give an output from, and it kind of be like entertaining, like racing, you know, it's like fighting, racing, like mining. What else is there? Like like card games, there's like a million card games.
Anything that has a win-lose condition.
So racing is like a very simple thing, and that's what attracts all these things. So to me, it's about how do you differentiate in that, and it's the idea of making something that you can share, like you can share a race that you did with your friends. Like, you know, you enter a race, you then show the replay, and then you can instantly share what happened in that race with your friends. And that's kind of my idea to grow Nova Rally, like way beyond, like, you know. So I'm now thinking of like, how did I make something? Because that's the thing, when I launched Nova Rally, like I tried to explain it to people I know in real life, and like, firstly, I tried to get them started on it. It's impossible. And then secondly, like they enter into a race, and like the first time they see the result, they're like, "Oh, that's cool," but then they don't really care.
Yeah.
But I've actually started showing them Zed Run, and they think Zed Run is interesting. And I get that a lot, is that people think that Zed Run looks interesting, like that. They're like, "Oh, wait, so you can watch your horse."
Pretty like visually uninteresting as far as like it's cooler than seeing nothing, but it's not like
it's also
just horses running in a
stylized.
straight line, and like the graphics aren't crazy or anything. It's pretty like weird Tron graphics, and horses just
it's pretty chill though. It like
I like it too.
Something about
I mean,
it does get you.
It does. I still race whenever I can get in a free race. I'm into that.
Yeah,
trying to fill out my races.
So and that's really I've come a long way in my thinking in that. Well, firstly, there's a lot of learning that has to have taken place. So at first I was thinking, well, I need to get a blockchain game working first and foremost. I initially said that there wasn't even going to be a UI for a year for Nova Rally. That's originally what I said, because I wasn't sure of, it was originally designed to be a small game for my community, but then over time you learn that, actually the UI bit is not that difficult once you learn how. And then I was like, the 3D racing, it must cost a fortune and take years and years of development. But no, you just have to do it in the right way. So like
I remember having to manually stake like through blocks. I had to like copy all the templates in and like,
yeah.
I made a tool for it, so it'd copy it for you, and then I was like, oh, sick. And then
someone was looking over your shoulder. Someone's looking over your shoulder like, oh, you working on stuff? It's like, no, I'm playing a game.
Definitely my attitude has changed like massively. I was being very much like no, people like the people are just so happy to have something new that they won't mind, like, because we all did it with Alien Worlds in my community. People won't mind like staking all these assets, and like very much my focus has all changed to like we need to get to ultimate quality of life so that when this new update launches, it's a polished product that they can show to their friends. So that's the new rationale behind it, because of like I'm aiming to produce something better than what any other blockchain game, like in terms of overall experience. It may not be the overall best game, but if I provide the most engaging experience or the most fun game, I think it will be a massive success.
To that,
I can't tell if these questions are trolls or not, but somebody asks if I can ask if when Person Bird is going to make it into the game. Is that a troll comment? Or is that a serious comment?
That's just Rax. Rax asks if Person Bird, like, he loves like Rick and Morty, like Bird Person, and he wanted Bird Person in Nova Rally, but I was like, we're not putting a Rick and Morty character in. So he's like, what about Person Bird? He just goes around every game now asking Person Bird. One game's going to let him in. One game's going to let him in. It's going to be all over.
You're going to see a Person Bird at some point, even if he has to make it himself.
Yeah.
I am the KY. I also asked a question, but I think this is just a low-key flex. He said, I'm still slowly leveling up my intermediate and up to 4 veteran teams now. Is that setting me up okay for the charm update and licenses? But
he's like, is that good?
No, but that's good. That means he's grinded. Like, like I've always said that people that have been playing now and grinding are going to be set up very well for when the update hits. Like, because they're going to be able to earn a lot more of the token per race, even if you lose. So if you do put in the time, then, or you just buy. People sell intermediates for very cheap on the market right now, so you just buy them and then upgrade them to veteran.
Yeah, I have a question too. I have mint 1 of every classic car. Is that good? But to that end of like making the experience more engaging, I love that idea. And something that I feel like is missing in Zedrun is like spectators being able to like engage in a race that they're not participating in. Is there kind of like an idea for any avenue to that in Nova Rally's future? Like, can I watch a race that Lewis is racing in and like bet on the sidelines or something?
I went down a rabbit hole of what would take for legalized betting on Nova Rally races, and it would take we would need to be a lot bigger. But there I was thinking of doing a system where you could win cosmetics only, but you wouldn't be able to trade these cosmetics because the gambling laws are very tight. But I would love to do betting. Betting would definitely be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe a way to watch a race and then like a third party, somebody else implements something for the betting.
Maybe somebody else that isn't officially on the Nova Rally team makes a betting website that is not.
So apparently I'm allowed to set up a. So I talked to a lot of people. Apparently I'm allowed to set up a company in Malta and provide gambling on Nova Rally races as another company, and then it's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of like what everybody does, I think. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's not us making the gamble; it's some other company that just,
I would have to find like a Maltese person as well, like a representative that. It's like a long ass process, and I'm just like, do you know what? There's a lot better ways I can spend the budget of Nova Rally than this right now.
Certainly, yeah. It's not a betting game in the first place; it's a racing game. So focusing on that seems like
so I want it to be fun as well, because betting does ruin people's lives at the end of the day. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. First and foremost, it wants to be a very fun experience before I ruin everyone's lives and give them gambling addictions.
That's true. Yeah. Betting is an avenue to addiction. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm just a degenerate. Like,
I mean, I would love to gamble on Nova Rally races. I would gamble all day, and I'd always bet on underdogs, even though I knew like that I'm more likely to lose. It's just that feeling of getting the underdog to win.
Yeah, or like even like just watching a race is fun. Watching a race where I have like $5 on one of the cars is way more fun.
Hey, it matters a lot more when there's money on it, or even when there's anything on it. When there's channel points in Twitch, I watch my favorite poker streamer Spraggy, and I accrued a lot of channel points by getting the successful like bets and predictions, and I had a lot of channel points. And then one time I made one bad prediction. I put all my channel points. I didn't watch for a week because I actually felt sad. I felt like I'd squandered all my channel points. And like that whole psychological aspect just intrigues me greatly. Like the fact that I was that negatively affected.
Yeah, it feels way more part of the definitely. And it's not like I want the gambling because I like the degenerate side of the gambling as much as like the that aspect of it where it's like it connects you to it way more. When, like I don't care at all about football, for example, but if I'm going to a friend's house to watch a game, like put a $5 bet on it, suddenly I actually care about it. I'm actually watching. Yeah,
I always like bet on the Super Bowl as well because I stay up to watch, but I like to have that little bit of adrenaline, to keep me up in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question here, and it's what about owning racetracks and the racing teams? I guess like, is there progress on that?
So we have all the contracts for buying the racetrack packs. In terms of how we're implementing like how people get rewarded versus owning the tracks, like the problem is it would take a little bit longer to allow you to open the packs. So there is still going to be a while there, but like all the contracts to buy it are ready. In terms of the teams, what we're going to do is we're going to have 8 teams that you could invest in on the launch of the Charm update. And it's like a tiered share system. So at first, at tier 1, the shares are the cheapest, and you buy shares in the team through Charm. And we're going to run like a first iteration of like what's known as the Super Circuit, where it's kind of like I know everyone hates the word DAO, but technically it is technically it's 8 DAOs competing against each other for a prize. So we're going to have like
is that the same? Like, are the teams the manufacturers of the cars, or is that something?
No. Different? So I originally wanted to do it, and I originally called manufacturers and not teams, and then the names confuse everyone. So I'm just gonna have 8 teams, and people are gonna invest in them, and then we're just gonna see how it goes.
So you can race like any car on the team. It doesn't have to be necessarily like the teams are for the cars from the manufacturers.
Yeah, so the idea is the Super Circuit is like a TV show, it's like Formula 1, and I will stream a 14-week season, so 1 week on, 1 week off, and it'll be like 5 races a week or 3 races a week, and people will make decisions in the lead up to the race, and then I will do the results live on stream. I'm going to get people from all over Twitch to commentate on the different races, like guest commentators. It's going to be like a proper production thing. And
so the teams will be like a specific pair of drivers and cars together, and then like the team will just be how well those people do.
Well, so they have a budget, and they have to bid on players, like bid on the drivers to say, come and drive for Xenon, for example. If Xenon's the team, come and drive.
Okay. And is that like
that's the
real players driving, or is that based on like the characters in the game?
Based on the characters in the game.
Okay.
Based on the track as well.
That's cool though. It's
Yeah,
cool that you can like bet, and then you have someone to root for. So like that's kind of like the unofficial way of betting that you're doing.
Yeah, so you're investing in the team shares, and then you're gonna really feel a part of it.
Should make the live stream really fun too, because like you're rooting for the people that you're invested in.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't wait to get like different co-commentators on, and I love doing the commentary as well. And I think
you gotta get BDAO. That dude goes wild.
Oh, I love him. I'm going on his stream soon. The first time I ever watched his stream is do you know Deej from Zos, the zombie outbreak survival game on Wax?
I haven't seen their stream. No.
Me neither.
So he went on, and and because of I know him, I'm friends with Deej. I went and watched that stream. First time I was seeing Blue Dragon, and oh man, it was just the funniest. I'd had such a stressful day. I was literally nearly crying with laughter. That guy's hilarious. Like, he just puts so much energy in.
And he just keeps the energy up the whole time too.
He's
impressive. Yeah.
I'm the KY asks, is it complete RNG as far as the team equipment for each race, or will I know the drivers and car I'm betting on? And I'm not sure if he means they're like the like rarity, like will it be the same rarity in car and character each time for each race, or like are those going to be randomly assigned?
Oh, for a super circuit, it'll be like everything's like top tier, so there's no variation. But then also technically like all of this, like we're moving to like a new back end so that everyone will be able to pull all the stats out, because the problem right now is that the data miners have an advantage in that if you know what you're doing, you can go and look at all the Nova Rally races and you can get statistically the best combos. So in our new algorithm, we're just going to have a back end, and you can just pull the data out yourself, and then it's publicly available. I can show
level the playing field between the data miners and everybody else.
I actually couldn't figure out. I was trying to use Van's tool last night, and I couldn't get it to like pull the top 100 race times total. I don't know if the tool is not working or what, but it could also just been like weird glitch on the blockchain or lag on the blockchain last night when I was looking. But I'm actually gonna run a few races right now because
I do like that concept though too, where it's like, yeah, I mean, you can't stop people from data mining, but you can make the data available to everybody who's not data mining.
Yeah, so this is the one of the thing I finally realized, like every time that you're a project owner, you really truly believe that you do know better than your users. Like even me, Mr. Transparent, Mr. Back of my head, I was like, yeah, these guys, they don't really know. And finally, I've just accepted that the combination of people, maybe it's not the same for every project, but the combination of people I have supporting my project, collectively, they do know better than me. And basically, we sit down every Sunday at a round table and we discuss how to eliminate all of the current problems in the game, like how to eliminate any need for multi-accounting, how to eliminate like people potentially doing automation in the future. And this has given me a lot of good ideas. So that, like right now, you just enter into a race into Nova Rally, and then after a certain number of people join the queue, it makes the race and posts the result. So in the new update, there will be a 2-minute window in which you will see some stuff like these drivers are going to perform particularly well in this race, and you might need to make some strategy adjustments. So that's the first step in putting a system in that actually allows people that are there at the time of the race to make strategic decisions. So that's cool. That's coming from an idea from Rax in the community. It's also going to, when we put weapons in, you'll be able to target certain characters if they're constantly winning races and stuff. When do shards go away? When the update is, just before the update is released, we'll probably burn all of the shards, and you will get all your scrap tokens. You can use your scrap tokens to buy weapons and track pieces and what have you.
So this update's going to have like charm and scraps, like a couple new tokens.
Yeah, so charm is the new token that you will receive for racing. That will be kind of like the token of value in the sense of like a controlled distribution of a token that's going to be used for all game modes. And then scrap is to incentivize people to essentially rectify the mistake that I have made in that I created too many assets. So there are like 186,000 drivers in Rookie League. There are not 186,000 players that play Nova Rally. So like there is a large burn event essentially that you're turning your stuff for scrap, and instead of me selling you more stuff in the game, you can just buy it you can buy weapons with scrap tokens, for example.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
So yeah, like this is the problem with being one of the earlier projects on Wax, is that you do make quite a lot of mistakes, especially when it comes to the economy. And what I find now is it's actually a lot easier to just hire people that are bloody experts at it, right? Instead of like, I did my own simulations, I did my own things, then made my own decisions, made some mistakes, and now it's time to be like, right, let's get some experts in. That's kind of like my approach to everything now. Like, if it gets to a point where I feel like there's maybe something that someone else who's an expert in this could come in and do better.
Nice. That's actually a great way to get shit done right.
Yeah, like, because like you make a lot of progress at first, making all of the decisions, and then you make mistakes, and it's too easy to make mistakes. So you really do need experts in all areas. That's the thing. Like, my ambition, I'm like, it's not. I don't mean to be arrogant, but my ambition is to try and become the best blockchain game. Whether I do or not, who knows, right? But that is the goal. Yeah. So you have to then, your whole mindset has to be, every decision that you make from here on out would be, if I was the best blockchain game, how would I do things? And that's the new approach. And that has to be the approach, is that I want to be the most fun blockchain game, and I want to take on Zedrun and Pegasus. I don't see why there's any reason why we couldn't have something like that on Wax. And I actually think that Wax is a better blockchain for it. So
I agree, actually. Yeah.
I really want there to be a flagship game on Wax this year, and I will do my best to make that Nova Rally. Or if I fail this year, I hope someone else comes along and makes a flagship, like, proper game that is people are seeing it and coming to play the game and learning about the blockchain of Wax in the process. So that's
I think we can do better with Farmers World, personally, but
I hate the fact that that's our flagship game. It hurts my soul.
I am the KY asks. Actually, we have two questions. Twittering just asks if you have like an idea of when the Charm update will be. Like, do you have any tentative release date for that, or is it just like it'll be ready when it's ready? You don't want it the day beforehand.
It will be ready when it's ready. Especially because of some of the things I now have to do to really iron out the multi-accounting problem. Like, there were a few people abusing the system, and I definitely don't want to release where it's potential for abuse. But so it will be ready when it's ready. I'm hoping that we can do something this quarter, or
careful,
third.
This quarter ends in a month.
Third, yeah. So this quarter or third, or classic, as Sammy Snake always says, 2 weeks away. It's
gonna be about 2 weeks.
So he asked if the racetrack sale is still priced in Snake Oil. Yes. You will be able to also buy some for Charm and some for scrap, but you'll still be able to use all that fuel that you've saved up. 45 million Snake Oil is the price. It's dirt cheap to buy a racetrack piece.
How much is it?
45 million Snake Oil.
How much do I have? I only have 6.5, 6.12. I don't have enough. I need to keep saving. But
it's very, very cheap on Alcor.
You can scoop it on the Alcor or maybe DeFi Box. I'm not sure where the liquidity is. I think Alcor.
See if my races pop. Oh no!
Can we play the latest trailer for maybe people that have not seen it?
Yeah. Do you want me to pull it up, or do you have it?
I'll get it up.
It's actually been a minute. I kind of got burned out on the grind, and I haven't been grinding Nova lately. I've been waiting for the updates and stuff, so I got back into it. Even the interface changes you've done since I last played, which I mean probably is telling, but like there was no favorites last time I played it. Like you didn't have a favorite set up. The death race was still being done manually. Like I don't know when you added that stuff, but I was like, oh, even since I've last played, which I think was in like December or something, it's been a minute. But
so the UI, we've got a completely new UI also coming. That is like we hired a game designer from who worked on a couple of really successful mobile apps in Russia. So that's Daniil. He joined the team, and he again, it's very much like, do I know how to design like a user experience? I know what I like. Do I know what is a good design? No. So again, that's just part of bringing in people that actually know more than me, that been working in the industry for a couple of years. So that's again part of one of the changes that we made.
That's like seeing all the progress. It's like all of this stuff you've pitched was like it seemed like a long shot when you're pitching it. Like even like the death race and stuff is like, oh, like maybe that'll come out like some again, like you were saying, like maybe next year or something. But it's like all of this stuff has been like realized and coming out not super quickly, but like you're actually doing the stuff you're saying you're gonna do, which is like, you know, a lot of wax games aren't following through on their pitches. So the fact that you had like a vision and you're actually moving towards that vision and doing things successfully, like I don't know. I haven't been playing actively, but I didn't sell any of my Nova Rally stuff. I was like, Sammy's doing good stuff. I'm just gonna wait until it's like more fun for me, which I think is gonna be when the visuals come out. But
like, I honestly don't blame anyone for not playing right now. You know, I see why people don't play right now. Me, I started, even myself, I didn't play for a month or two. You know, it sounds bad about my own game, but I was so busy. And then now I'm back and I'm enjoying it just because I know that I need to get my stuff into the higher leagues because I'm like falling behind everyone. But I just like, even at its core, at the end of the day, I just enjoy, like, I always want it to be simple enough for anyone to come in and play, and you just pick a car and 2 characters and you can race. And then when you can actually see what visually happened in the race, that's when I think it really completes.
I mean, I have a blast watching Zed run, as dumb as those races are. Like, I'm not even racing. Max has horses and I don't, and I like get heated like watching Max's horse. I'm like, come on,
it's like, go get him! Like, you're so close, you can do it.
I can't wait until like I can actually watch these races. I think it'll be very fun being able to. Oh, I didn't see you shared your screen. Here we go. I got you on the screen, Sammy, if you want to hit play.
Perfect. Yeah.
Let's go. 100 racers.
Fuck yeah.
The graphics I really like.
I do too. It's like a stylized look. It doesn't have to be like Gran Torino. It looks like it has its own style and it looks great. The weapons are great. I love the little boom text in the explosion too.
Man, this is freaking dope. It reminds me of Borderlands, like the cell shading.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of cell shading stuff, like the new Pokemon.
Yeah, me too.
That stuff, I really like the graphics. Everybody's bitching about the new Pokemon graphics. I think they look cool and stylized.
Yeah, I really like the comic book feel of that stuff too. Like when there's an explosion, the text boom pops up. It's great.
It's like an old Batman.
Yeah.
How will like the weapons and stuff work? Are you going to be able to like have any control over that, or are the weapons just completely?
You know what, like, I would imagine you would put some kind of like strategy in, but at the end of the day, like, your character's accuracy will be like so the idea will be like whoever you put in the passenger seat, they're in charge of the weapons. So however good they are with weapons will determine how successful they are.
Shotgun is quite literally in charge of the shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
That's cool though.
It's super cool. I'm really excited.
And like, I guess my next question is like, how is the camera going to work? Like, do you get to control the camera, or is this camera just going to be following who it wants to control?
So I'll get onto that. How long have we got in this trailer? Yeah, I'll get onto that. Because the music's blaring very loudly in my own headphones. So I'll get onto how like the cameras will work.
I like all these different shots. I like the wheel shot is super cool, and like the different angles that you have.
Damn. That's
So
dope.
in terms of the camera, so there's like it's important to point out is like so there's going to be two different types of 3D racing. The racing that I just showed there, that'll be kind of the type that like on a death rally I'll be streaming it live. The super circuit races I'll be streaming it live, and you can. It really has that extra, you know, on a very powerful machine we can get as many cars in as possible. It's going to be carnage. It's going to be great. And the inputs get taken from the blockchain, the outputs go back to the blockchain. And then also what we do is we have another version of 3D racing, which is like where the results are calculated on chain as a series of events. You take those events and pass them over, and you load up the race, and it visualizes it as a set of racing highlights. So the racing highlights will be like a very stylized, like always cutting to the right camera depending on what's happening. Whereas like the death rally, you can either watch it on my stream, or you'll be able to watch it on a stream where you'll be able to like choose which camera. So if you want to follow your own, but
Ooh, that's super cool.
The guys have been doing like a really really good job with the camera. So like if a missile is just about to hit a car, for example, like it knows and it pans to it, and I like, it's just magic to me. I really honestly I don't understand how it really works. I mean, he's in the chat, one of them, Charles 16-bit glitch. He watches the streams. He's an absolute legend. So
just a dash of witchcraft. That's how the cameras work.
He's always just like I always come away from the meetings we have just like shaking my head in like disbelief. But like again, I think for a blockchain game, this type of thing, like this formula, I think this is a formula, like a really good formula of you know, because there's like there's only so many card games you can make, but this formula of, you know, putting in an input and some heavy stylized visualization of anything, like that's satisfying to watch. And in fact, that, you know, that's one of the things that I hope that they eventually do with blockchain brawlers. I hope they have a proper wrestling match.
Yeah,
I'd watch the hell out of that.
Jury's still out. I'm sort of afraid it's just going to be like literally a click farm game with just wrestling.
I think it will be because of it's their first game.
It's Farmer's World, but with wrestling skins instead of farming skins.
Yeah, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it. But then the blockchain stuff doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah. It just needs to make money.
I'm not sure if we answered this, but I'm the KY asked, does master upgrade require a manual?
Yeah, to upgrade to master, you need a driver's manual, but you don't need 3 assets you don't need 3 veteran assets. You just need one, an drawn driver's manual.
People are saying Van has every sketch driver in Classic Card Master League now. Van's beating the game.
He is grinded insanely. Like he races for the love of the game. You know, people are just love of the game. Like I don't think there's anyone that enjoys racing more than Van. Like, even me, he enjoys it more than me. I made the game. I love it. He loves it more than me. But the best thing ever is that the game right now, like it's a minimal viable product what I've put out right now. Let's be honest. And I get why people are not playing it, but I'm going to show some of the screens in a minute about, like, you know, the interface we're going to and the ideas that we've got. But like even then, I have people messaging me and they just love it, and I'm just so happy that already I've managed to create something that the community that really enjoys it. Like, you know, people are saying that checking the death rally is the highlight of their day, and I can't believe that. Like, and so people really engage with the characters as well, and that's the biggest thing for me. If I remember correctly, did you say that there was going to be some changes to snake oil? Is that staying? Fuel is staying, but the system in which so right now we have a system that is exploitable, to be honest, where you race 10 times, and then every race after your 10th one costs 20% more. Now, after 10 times, what do? They go to their other account. And then what you can do is then you can put some stuff to be like, oh, well, look out for transfers and do this and that. And then eventually you're on a wild goose chase. Now, instead, what we're doing is we're basically saying, like, listen, you can race however much you want now. Based on how much you pay, we have like 4 levels, like called gears. Based on how much you pay, you will receive more charm back. So it's like a leverage system that a few games are doing at the moment, like this idea of a leverage system. And then also we're allowing people to literally bulk enter as many races as they want. And that way, anything that you can do on your own account as a normal player is as good as anything that a bot could do. So completely level playing field. And
Yeah, I like that too.
So I was also, I mean, I just stopped playing after 10 races. I was like, I do 10 races a day, and then I quit because I'm cheap. So like,
that's
I don't know,
interesting, and that's actually bad. And you know, I did I play Beast Garden, and I noticed that if I did 2 battles, I get the maximum amount of XP for my battle pass for the day, and then I stop after 2 battles. So there's something psychological there that's like, again, like I stop racing in my own game after 10 races sometimes, unless I really wanting to push stuff. So when you put that barrier on, sometimes it's got the opposite effect for the actual player. And these are some of the things that we've learned through actually asking the players. So what the highlight of my week is speaking to people in the round table, and people can get their opinions across. Only thing is, getting multiple entries into the death rally is really advantageous. Yes, it is. So we're also allowing people in the update to enter as many entries in the death rally as they want. Because
I haven't actually done one of those yet. Is there used to be just one a day, right? Is there more than one a day now?
There's still one a day. There always will be one a day, I think, but you'll be able to enter as many as you like in it. Just and that level playing field, it just stops it. It just stops the people exploiting it. And like, that's the thing, is it's like I used to think like, oh well, we can just ban them. We've got ways to ban them. You can't stop them. You can't stop them. So you just need to design things in a way that are not exploitable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's a lot of people who try to like stop it and ultimately just incentivize that action instead.
They end up somehow catching real people in the crossfire.
Yeah, the real person gets nerfed, and the bot person can get around the nerf by botting. So then effectively you're incentivizing botting. Like our planet, for example, is doing that now with the Aether claiming. Like, I can't claim all my Aether at once from one account, but I can claim it from 1,000 accounts in 10,000 increments. So
yeah,
so you're telling me like you'd rather I make 1,000 accounts so I can keep claiming the same stake than I'm being incentivized to multi-account.
Yeah,
like,
and I get that. I get that making it not possible to bot, or not profitable to bot, will make the player count lower. But at least I'll know for sure that these are actual players, and I can just focus on steady growth. And that's the plan. And that, so I'd rather have 400 real people than 4,000 bots. And you've got a platform to work with. You know, they're going to tell their friends, and they're excited to play the game and get their friends into the game. So
I don't think bot farms are good for games.
Yeah, people in the chat are talking about
inflate your number, but all of those people are just going to be dumping the token. It's like hundreds of extra people that aren't interested in playing are only using it as a for-profit platform, not like people bot farming are not reinvesting in games. They're just.
The other thing you should be wary about bot farms is that bot farms aren't a diverse community of people. It's a much smaller number of individuals running many, many, many accounts.
Yeah.
And if an opportunity, for example, Alien Worlds stops being lucrative and Farmers Worlds becomes more lucrative, you'll move your bot farm to a different game, and then your player base drops by thousands and thousands of people with one bot farmer leaving. And those numbers are, I mean, as we already know, they're fake, but it's also, this is a decentralized space, so those numbers can move out at like a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And abandon a massive seeming player.
And then it looks like your game's dying, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it looks like
the opposite
and even though it's like one person left or two people.
Yeah, actually, so that's a very good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. Bot farms have metrics that need to be understood way better if you're going to be looking at the metrics.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice also, in the beginning when you've got, look at all my players, but then
it also sucks for us creators because it makes us think there's a larger demand for our projects than there are. So because you're like, oh,
you end up making too many mints.
There's actually one person on 1,000 accounts that he doesn't want my shit, and he's going to sell it the second he can multi-account something else.
Yeah, it's not a very nice feeling. So Zemby asks, are you taking parts of Novarai off chain? I noticed at certain times it could be real slow to see race results. Yes. We have hired 2 new people this week who are finishing off our back end system so that everything will load a lot smoother and also allow us to do our new battle pass quest system. So, which I'll hopefully I can.
How much of the
It's gonna be a
current
quest
on-chain
system. You're hitting all my friggin'. If there's daily things I need to do, I will be playing your game daily because I'm the sort of OCD where I love completing the daily quests. Like, I have my list of games that I do my dailies in, and you add that, I'll be happy.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that's come from the community.
Nice.
Let me just bring up a couple of examples.
Yeah, which transactions, like how much portion of the like current on-chain stuff is moving into a backend, and then
so the main thing is like we have the equivalent of 140,000 wax currently paid in RAM. In race results. We store all of the race results in a table on the chain. Now, is that really necessary? No. So we will save ourselves a lot of money by moving that into an off-chain. So that's one of the main things. The races themselves will always, like the bulk of the daily races will always be calculated on chain because I just think it's cool. And that's like, you know, and then the only things that will be off chain will be the one, like the death rallies that I stream and the super circuit, but technically it takes inputs from on chain. So it's kind of hybrid, really.
Nice. But it's also not accessible like to anybody. You're the one driving there so that like exploitation risk of something on chain or in the off chain environment, then like broadcasting inaccurately and creating on chain like inconsistencies is low because you're the one who's like, it's not like a like, let's see, an example would be like what was that, Upland or Uplift did like their Upliftium issuing, and like somebody found an off-chain exploit and minted 1 million Upliftium on chain, or 1 million of those NFTs on chain.
Yeah,
which, you know, each of them is worth 1 million of their currency. So it's like doing shit like that creates these vulnerabilities between the on and off chain points. Is that something you guys are?
I don't really want to be like anything that can be like gamed for rewards that could potentially break my entire game. Then definitely not going to be wanting that.
So, I mean the stats and stuff, that makes a lot of sense. But then moving like, so that like with the death race thing, like you're saying, you're the one driving that. That's not something that everybody has access to, where it's a hybrid system. So you're the only one with access to the hybrid system. Is kind of like what I'm getting, right?
Yeah. And it makes it special. And I know that's you know, because of it's special, it's not technically scalable. But like for you know, I think that is the best solution because I'm not at risk of it being, because if you do like the whole point of that I like to do as much as I can on chain is because I have that security in what's happening, and I know for a fact that you know the right stuff is happening. So right, let me just bring up 3 screenshots because I don't think you guys will have seen these.
I've mainly only seen stuff on Twitter posts. People have been posting Twitter stuff in our Discord, and I'm like, all the 3D updates have looked super dope, but I actually haven't been able to catch your streams lately. My sleep cycle's all messed up. I wake up like when it's nighttime for you.
No, it's so difficult to keep up on Wax at the moment, so I don't blame anyone for. Again, it's up to me to get the word out. So,
I mean, the other cool thing about NFTs is they last forever. That's my thing about it. I was like, I'm not going to sell my Nova Rally stuff, but I know Sammy's working on it, so like, you know, they'll be there when I want to come back, which is the nice thing about NFTs.
Yeah, and like every rug pull is obviously very like, you know, very bad, but also for every rug pull that happens, I hope that we get more people that are investing in people that they know are going to be around. So that's what I try to offer in that, at least that trust that, you know, I don't do this like there's if I wanted to make money, there's a lot better ways I could make money for myself than Nova Rally. The reason why I do Nova Rally is because it's just such a fun challenge to try and make a real contender blockchain game. So
I feel like you probably also have many conversations that I've had this conversation so many times too, where someone's like, you get them kind of like savvy to the kind of stuff that's possible in the space, and then it's like, why don't you do a rug pull? or why don't you do something? You're not necessarily a rug pull, but why don't you do this thing that'll make thousands and thousands of dollars? And it's just like, because I feel dishonest doing that.
I could never live with myself.
But yeah, I'm sure people ask though, right? Because like that's happens way too often to me when I'm talking with people about like DeFi stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, well, like given all these things, couldn't you do X, Y, or Z?" And it's just like you could if you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
To me, like you see all these people on Twitter that have really made it in crypto and they've sold everything, and why they don't have anything really in their lives anymore. They seem a bit depressed, if I'm honest. Like, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
it's hard to find a purpose in life,
Yeah, because you can definitely do that one time or 2 or 3 times, and then it's like over, and you definitely can't re-enter these communities, and it's a thriving space that you're definitely cutting yourself out of. And like, for what? A one-time payday when you can build something like functional that is around 5 years from now. And yeah, like
So I don't know what I would do if I don't know if I could go back to not having anything going on. Like, no rally is my baby.
If you took away wax and NFTs, my life would be very sad right now because I spent
honestly, like
people on Discord. Just be like, okay, well, there go all my friends and like colleagues and everything I've been doing for the last year. Like, the last thing I want to do is leave the wax community.
Yeah,
I've made some like lifelong friends I consider now in wax, and I was like not in a good place like mentally before I joined wax, and now I'm like as strong really as I've ever been. Like, it's genuinely the people that keep you coming back.
Yeah, it's a real community.
I was going on like a year and a half unemployed, like pandemic, shut down my job, like nothing going on in my life, just waiting for something, and then like found wax and was like, oh, this is like all of my hobbies combined into one thing. This is amazing. Like, this is what I want to be doing all day, every day. So
it's a real community of real people to the point where like the other day when that chummy drop was happening, a person in our community here, the DNA was like, there's a chummy, I couldn't get it. I suck at like my computer's just like behind and there's no way I'm landing it. And he like tracked down the one I wanted and hooked me up with it, like at drop price even, which is like, oh wow, it's a real person who's actually like interested in like helping another collector. And that is just such a cool thing that,
like people sent me NFTs for my birthday at like
that's awesome.
People sent me more value in NFTs than like and then really you should receive it as a birthday present. It was ridiculous. Like, but people are just so happy to like, they're just so happy to be in the community. It makes me happy. So this is what we're kind of getting towards with a more like friendly interface. Like, I definitely like we got a wee speedometer here in the top where it will like track your charm progress throughout the day. So see if you can beat yesterday's charm count. So there's a lot of stuff like that. We've got our gear system. We've got some stuff so you know how many people are racing right now, so you know like how quickly you are going to get a new race. And just trying to make it easier for people, especially on mobile, or whether you're on desktop or mobile, to just race. So and then we have the battle pass concept, which is coming, where there were going to be a free battle pass, and just ignore the pictures of the people that know will just be like, well, why are you rewarding driving manuals to free? No, just ignore the rewards. These again, this is just a UI screen at the moment. Like, we're still working on the economy behind the battle passes, but again, like there needs to be something that is there for people that just join right away. I want people to join right away, and when they're even just trying Overeye out, maybe they complete their first quest and then they might get hooked, I definitely want there to be something like a premium battle pass where you're getting premium rewards. I definitely want to do special like animations, like on the Twitter, like we've got like Otis Carlton Daniels in 3D giving a salute, and we've had Zika do a handstand, and I want all sorts of animations when you finish on the podium after the races. I think that is a big way to add fun into it, but also like invigorate the economy, because like I would pay a lot of money for certain animations, like victory animations. I know I would.
I also think if you do like seasonal skins, like if you do like a winter skin or like a Valentine's Day or a St. Patrick's Day like special skin for a car, and that can be an unlock. Those are the types of things where like like in Overwatch, every year there's Halloween skins, and I want like all of the Halloween skins each year. So it's like you go and you collect them, and then like 5 years, you can go back 5 years ago. I have like the first Halloween skin, and you can use that as a flex. And I definitely like the kind of like time sensitive things that you can unlock.
Yeah.
So
that stuff is super fun.
And again, like we're gonna have like these challenges where it's like complete a certain number of races with different characters, 10 races, like any fun things that we can do, and that's kind of all linked up to our new back end, which is going to be easier for us to do all these achievements. And then like again, we've got like the new notification part where you're going to get notified when your race is about to execute, so you can get in, you can make your strategy adjustments.
Dope.
So yeah, it's about making it more of a polished experience for people, and not just because like, and again, like even when I go to stream it at the moment, like while I'm streaming, like the races will stop loading on screen, and it makes me look like an idiot. And I just think to myself, if anyone did come from another chain and looked at this, they just think, typical wax. Nothing's as good as Ethereum. But so that's why I want to get like something very polished, and then people can just look at it and go, oh wow, this does look very well put together. And that first impression is really good. I think right now it is a minimal viable product. It's very rough around the edges, and all of these things. Okay, maybe we're being very ambitious, but I would much rather be ambitious than eventually. There's only so many things you can try and do. Every single game on Wax is trying to do the same thing, where they're trying to make like some new change that will make the token go up. Like it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like you're trying to be here for a couple of years, and it's going to take time to build all this stuff up. But like at the end of the day, we're trying to make a polished experience, and I believe that by taking on the feedback from the people that did love the minimal viable product of what they want to see, we will create something that people will think is worth playing. And
and knowing what you don't know and where to like take a backseat to other people's expertise is also like a skill set in itself. So that's really
I've learned the hard way on that, is that I always do think that I know best secretly. And
there's a couple questions too I wanted to ask from the chat here.
I'm gonna start marbles really quick. Sure. I bought a couple Nova Rally things to give away in marbles. We got some just common cars, but get people one step closer to starting driving. But we've already kept Sammy an hour. I don't want to go too long, so I'll start the marbles while we continue to talk about Nova Rally.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. So the first question that was I'm the KY wants to know, what influences the amount of charm that you earn?
So the league that you are in. So whether you're in rookie or intermediate or veteran or master, depending on how much you've raced and like essentially blended your characters together to get up to the next league, how much you've paid to enter the race. So that leverage system in terms of your fuel cost, and then the position that you finish in. So if you finish in first place, you're obviously going to get a lot more charm than someone who finishes in 8th place. But at the same time, like, I want everyone, because the main problem at this at Nova Rally is that if you don't win a race, it feels meaningless. You are just literally just spamming the race button until you see, oh, I got first place. Oh, I got first place. Oh, and then you get 8th and 8th and 8th and 7th and 6th and 5th, and like even when you get a 3rd, you just don't care. So, like, by making this system so that you're like, oh yes, I got 3rd place this time. I got on the podium, got a lot more charm than I would have done for the other races, and that is the kind of I want that incentive as well to get people to promote so that they can earn more of the charm. But again, the charm is a daily pool, so there's only going to be a set amount of charm distributed per day, and it's always pool based. So it's not an infinite amount of charm.
Okay, that's awesome. Actually, I like that a lot. And then the other one that was Rocket wanted to know: does anyone know what the like base wax cost is for like getting a decent setup to get started in Nova Rally? And I want to kind of like tack onto that
player intro, which will interrupt the question. But
okay.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Sorry to interrupt the question, but people expect the audio cue. They might be upset if I don't play it.
Word. So I wanted to add on to his question though. So the question is like, what's kind of like the base wax cost to get a good setup in Nova Rally? And then I want to kind of add on to that. Is there an avenue to free to play also in the future for Nova Rally, or is it always I need to enter with an amount of racers before I can start it out? But I guess first, what's the base? I guess
I mean the base cost I like for like $100, like I reckon you could get like a rare car. Rare cars are really, really good, and you would get like loads of your favorite drivers that you plan on promoting, like getting 3 cars. Yeah, like I for $100 right now, you can get so much. Like the assets are real, good value. I think at the moment for anyone. You don't classic cars are obviously like the best, but rare cards are in that. Like if anyone wants to, like everyone wants to try the game, I would say uncommon is the best value. If anyone knows that they're going to play the game, buy rare and rare assets and
rare assets across the board, or rare cars.
Rare cars is the most probably the most important.
The driver's rarity doesn't influence the outcome of the race. It just is how much you snake for in snake oil. So like the rare drivers will earn you more tokens passively, but they won't actually make your car faster.
Yes. Okay.
The rare cars will. So the rare cars are more advantageous for racing.
Yeah.
Understood.
So like getting some rare cars, or if you plan to really play, then obviously pick up a classic car before the update comes out, because there really aren't that many classic cars in circulation, and like you're securing yourself, but really
you
like
don't need them. I've upgraded multiple teams, and I think uncommon might be my best car, and I've gotten multiple teams to intermediate league. Like you can still win without buying the higher tier stuff. Like if you get the right combo of drivers and stuff, it's also RNG. Like sometimes like the common cars end up beating the classic cars.
I love it. I love it when the common cars win. I love it when the common cars win. There always does need to be a chance. So in terms of free to play, like the renting system will be the free to play element.
Perfect. So if you have in a car, you can rent it out to newcomers. Is that how it works?
And the idea is that then it rewards people that own a lot of assets, but then they can pay their way from the earnings that they receive. Like so if they do well in the race, that will pay for their race. So,
I see.
So that, but I need to really, the renting system needs to be bulletproof. Like this is what I'm thinking. You give anyone a centimeter, like they'll rip that wide open. So, like that, there's a lot of technical stuff that we need to do, and it's the same reason why Mechanic Mastermind's taking so long to release, is that we kept finding exploits that people could just hack and see what the secret values were and just, destroy the system. I mean, okay, they need to be very good. They need to know wax, and they know all the table structures and how to interact with stuff very well. But all it takes one person to spoil it for everyone. So everything we make needs to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, is the license going to work with the rental system? Like,
so the whole idea is if you own the renting license, you'll be able to use that renting system and rent out to people. Until that system is implemented, when Charm is updated, you are going to be given some Charm just for holding these renting licenses. So as a thank you for people that bought them, because that's what's funded the development of this phase of the game.
So you need the license. Let's see. Do you have a favorite car?
Salamander. Salamander is just beautiful. Like that, Zika did a really good job with that Salamander. I just like nothing, just unique. I love, like, we did, obviously some cars are like inspired by other ones, but like the Salamander, oh man.
Oh yeah, there it is. I'm looking at it.
I have Ravager on screen. I didn't buy one of those, but Ravager is going to be the prize for the second race winner.
Be right back selling Salamander. If anyone I can't find anyone. People as if must know that I like Salamanders, because I have a classic Salamander, and I cannot find another classic Salamander for a reasonable price. Like there's like such a big jump between that and the other cars. I don't know. if it's just looks or because there's not many on the market. But I've been looking desperately for more salamanders.
Yeah, the cheapest one looks like a 671 wax right now, like almost $200. What is a reasonable price for a classic car, you think? If I'm stocking the market, what's a classic car like reasonable buy price, you think?
Let me look at the prices just now.
As someone who's been watching the market more than me, what?
So what I will say is, if I go to
classics have always been pretty darn expensive.
Yeah, they have. I've been watching them, but they just don't really drop in price super often, or at least
the thing, the biggest, the stupidest thing of all time is the discrepancy in the price between a rare and a classic car. You can get a rare car for $30, and so the by far the best value item in the game is rare cars. Like, in terms of like these ones that are listed for like 100 and I think say if you see one for 400 wax, then obviously snap it up. Like anything like 400 wax and below, maybe like. But yeah, the best value, like, you know, you don't have to have a classic car. Everyone wants a classic car, obviously. Yeah. But these rare cars are just stupidly, like, maybe because there's more of them in circulation, but the rare cars are very good.
Yeah, there's like around 4 times the amount it looks like, right, per car. 50, 30. Oh, actually, yeah. Not really. Yeah, the rare cars, some of these rare cars are pretty low mint too.
Yeah, I know it's to do with the supply, and obviously, like, it's way harder to craft a car. But you know, when the new update hits, there are no longer going to be NFTs given out for winning races. So, you know, the supply is not going to be increasing like it is. So I would imagine that people are like like I said, the rare cars is probably the best thing a new player coming into it right now can buy. Like, you know. That's what I love still about it is that, like, people know all this cool stuff is coming. It doesn't feel unreasonable to me to you know, I'm not asking people for, you know, on the secondary market to pay stupid amounts of money to get started. Like, you can take a punt with $100 and you can be set up really nicely, and that's why I like at this moment in time. And I don't say that to pump my secondary market sales or anything. I'm just honest in that you can get all that stuff.
If you want to try it out too, you can get a common car for like, I think it was 10 wax or 6 wax, and then like I think for like 10 wax you can get 2 drivers and a car just to try it out. And those snake oil, so you'll earn the currency you need to enter the races. So like,
yeah, and
that's just to see if you like it. And I did that first when I first played. I didn't buy, like, the prices were a bit higher, as like pre-launch, and I didn't buy like all the stuff I have now. I bought enough for like 2 teams. I bought like 4 drivers and 2 cars. And then when I started playing it, I liked it. I was like, oh, I want more variety so I can try different matchups. And then I bought like, there's a pack of like 100 common drivers for 100 wax at one point in time. And I bought that. And it was like, now I have like every possible combination. And that made it a lot more fun for me to be like, see who drives well together and stuff. So I don't know. You don't need to like whale into a classic car when you first start playing. You can try it out. And then if you like it, you can always like, you know, gradually invest more, which is generally what I do for gaming projects now, instead of trying to like own all of the best game items immediately.
I've seen, like, there's Ivanovic in the chat. Ivanovic is like a stealth ninja. He, you know, he has worked his way up to being in Master League, just grinding it out, winning death rallies, and putting a little bit in here and there over a long period of time. But yeah, the people have definitely worked their way up, and I hope that they, you know, are rewarded obviously for when we put all this content out. But yeah, I think people have done the right thing and sensibly, like almost like dollar cost averaging. Like, anytime where you're just not sure what to do with your money, like, you know, Novarai, at least I can promise I'm going to be here. That's the only, you know, I can't make any guarantees about anything other than I will be here still doing it. You know, like, God will have to take me out. Like, that's essentially what has happened. And even then, there's a whole plan in case of disaster of it to continue. So that's like, nice. I really do. I just love it so much.
I mean, most of the criticism I've heard from Nova Rally is just people bought in at the hype period and then like it never has gotten back to that price. And it's like, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's your fault that people over speculate, like speculated it was gonna be more fun than they thought it was gonna be, and they didn't want to play it as much. But like, you delivered what you said you were gonna deliver. It's not like
Yeah.
Yeah, I
you
just did it
delivered
on
some
a
totally
slower
different product, and people are
timeline.
like,
And
before it came out, like, I mean, Van was part of it. Van really helped pump up the aftermarket, and like other people bought in after prices after he kind of like put it way up. And then when the game came out, it never just like reached up to that hype. But like, I don't really blame you for that. That like other people speculated on your stuff and like thought it was gonna be worth more than it was. But that's like buying into a speculative market before the game comes out is like always super risky. But I think you've done a great job, and I think that like all the progress you've made is just showing that you are not rug pulling and you actually do follow through. And like that gives me the confidence that the 3D stuff will come out. And that's why, like, as I've been saying, even though I'm not playing every day, like I don't sell Nova Rally stuff because of the people I think are going to be around in Wax next year. Like I'm pretty sure you're going to be around. You've been streaming like six
oh,
days,
I
7 days
love it.
a week
I
for
love it.
like
I don't know
a
what I'd
year
do if I
straight.
didn't do wax. And yeah, and I get that, and you know, I said about Charm coming out in November and December and stuff, and then I realized that, like, is it going to solve the problem in that people think my game is boring to play and there's not enough content? And then, but it might generate some short-term interest. But then I realized that, oh, there's still too many flaws in the system. So I've just had to, even though people hate delays and people know me for delays at the moment, like it or not, people associate me with delays, which annoys me. But like all I can say is that when it does come out, it will all be worth it. And
yeah, I like the 2 weeks thing was a pretty funny
the
burn
2
on
week,
the
you know, at first I actually really hated it. It really got to me, like, you know. But now I embrace it. Now I embrace the 2 week thing.
Sorry to
yeah,
blast you the
it's
next
funny.
time. That's our audio cue for the next race. This one's for a turtle here.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's a couple of like the new player experience right now is dog shit, and so we're working on some new stuff where it's like you build your own starter pack, which is off of the secondary market technically. So you go onto our website, I show you all the cars, you pick your favorite car, right? Then I show you all the drivers, you pick your favorite drivers, and I will automatically assemble you a starter pack based on your level of play that you put in. And that way, like, you get good assets from the secondary market. I'm not minting more assets, but then you can.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can start
It's like
playing.
a front end for the secondary market. So it like packages like the lowest cost whatever's on the market at the moment.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Does it like when that happens, is that just like, oh no man. That question doesn't make sense.
But yeah,
that's a really cool idea though. That's
well,
like,
that's the thing is it's still too difficult to get someone to stop play. Like if I get, it's very easy for someone to stop playing, and then for me to replace that person, I have to go out, speak to someone on Discord. Sometimes I have to send them the assets, send them the snake oil, state them CPU, and then get them racing. And really, they're going to buy this starter pack. The starter pack's going to come with some snake oil so they can race quite a lot in the beginning. And then once they're comfortable with the game, they will buy fuel. But then also the other thing is that in terms of CPU, people are going to be able to, every time that they race, pay a small amount of their winnings to pay for the CPU. So we're integrating with a CPU service called Limitless. And basically you can use the winnings, your charm, to pay for your CPU for the race on demand. So you never need to stake anything.
Oh, that's dope.
And it saves me having to stake, because I might have to stake a lot of money to pay for everyone's racing. But it's much more scalable if people can just have their own method of paying for the races.
Yeah.
So there's so many things, and I guess people can understand why it has taken so long is because I'm really trying to get everything tied up for a release that is going to take on games on other chains and not just Wax. I really want to give it my best shot. So I'm really, really, really hoping it pays off, just because all of it has been done in tandem with the community. And I want to show that listening to the community is the way forward. So
yeah, that's awesome. What was I gonna say? Oh, I also like the DAO stuff. It's funny that it's like it's kind of like a bad word now because it gets used so much by like rug pull and bullshit.
it's
Like,
such a cool idea though, but then people are ruining it.
It's the same with like almost now it's like land sales, DAO, staking, like all those things, just because like everyone's just trying to like jump on it. It ruins like the legitimacy of
Honestly,
stuff.
it's the same thing
Or
with
even
NFT. Just the word NFT outside of the
yeah,
NFT space is like a dirty word
People
because there
hate
are
it.
so many like bullshit projects that have no utility that it like gives the good projects a bad name.
yeah, and that's the thing is like you can totally do a DAO and it is like a really great concept that does make sense. It's just that most of the stuff that's being peddled as DAO isn't actually DAO. It's just buzzword to sell some like nonsense. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for how that all plays out too.
Yeah, I've been looking a
So
lot
cool.
of this thing. I don't know if you heard of this thing called Fractal.
Fractal. It
that
sounds
it?
familiar.
Fractal is like by one of the guys that was like the face of EOS for ages, and it's like it takes DAOs to the absolute extreme in terms of getting rewarded for your contribution to an organization, like to the absolute extreme. I don't know if I would go as far, but I watched his videos and I read the white paper. I always love the stuff that he does. He's the reason why I got into EOS in the first place, and then from EOS I made it to Wax because I knew it was EOS based. But he makes a lot of sense, and like I think some of the stuff he's talking about is the future, but it's like maybe it's like too far in the future, and people really just don't understand this whole aspect of the DAOs yet.
Yeah, there is.
But that's the thing. I won't call it. Outside of this Twitch, I probably won't ever call it a DAO again because I know the negative connotations. I'm just going to call them racing teams.
Yeah, that it's definitely like a functional concept. There is like real huge DAO protocols out there that actually run as DAOs and are like self-funded from their own like networks and all that shit. It's fascinating. And yeah, it's funny. It's funny how like great concepts and stuff like that can get like turned into just negatives by bad actors in the space, using them as buzzwords. But
I'm also excited to see. I don't know if Josh has reached out at all from Costume Clash, but I'm excited to see if you guys can do some crossover stuff because like he's building his game in Unity as well, so he's gonna have a bunch of racetracks and race cars built basically. So like I feel like your cars could be plug and play in his game. Like if people wanted to actually like be able to race their characters, they could be maybe imported into his game, and like vice versa. Like maybe some of his characters could make it into your game and whatnot. But
I talked to him a lot. It's just a case of like I've just got so much going on right now. I need to talk to him again about it. But if people, that's the thing. If the demand is out there, people want my characters in other games, and as long as they're enjoying my characters and the characters are used respectfully, then I'm open to anything. But like what Josh is doing is really cool. Like he is essentially building a library that that anyone building Unity games can easily integrate with Wax. So like one of the reasons why Engine was very popular is because it had these libraries for integration with, with Unity. And so he's making that for Wax. He's going to document it. It's going to be available for everyone. So like I love people that are looking to push the space on. So he's doing a really, that's a very, very, very awesome thing. Like that's the type of thing that really does make you think like, wow, like Wax could be the blockchain that people go to make games on for NFTs. Like, so I'm very excited to hear that news.
He also has like console knowledge and like has released stuff on PlayStation. So like if there is going to be something on Wax that's on like Xbox and PlayStation, I feel like he's the guy that's going to help us get there. So I think he has good connections and knowledge. Like in an industry, a lot of people lack experience in Wax because there's a lot of people trying to launch games on Wax that don't really have the gaming experience side. So I like that he comes from the game development experience side and can help educate people on that. I'm excited. I think a lot of good stuff's coming on Wax this year. I think it's gonna be a good year for Wax. Like last year is a lot of like, I mean, it's kind of what Max has been talking about for DeFi. Like all the stuff people are talking about in 2017 that was like speculating the price so high is now actually coming out.
Yeah,
and that's sort of,
yeah.
last year was the
what
speculative year
happens.
of Wax, where everybody's like, oh, all these amazing games, like they're going to be so great, and it's just taking longer than people thought. But it's like we're starting to see like the work that has been done from all the money we funded last year is actually starting to turn into real products now. So I don't know, it's pretty cool, and I think like it's fun to be along for the ride. As frustrating as it is, like being early invested in a lot of this stuff when like the dates don't come when you think they're going to, it's still like I'm having fun.
Projects completely changed direction. Just they'll announce it one day, and it's just like, yeah, we're no longer that game anymore. We're this game, or there's bounce, or but like. I definitely think that the quality of games this year is just like, because that's the thing. Like when the other games get better, then it forces the competition to step their level up, and I'm excited to see some real high quality games on Wax this year.
Yeah, same. There's definitely like the fundraising from all the hype definitely does amount to like real stuff being built from that money, which is super cool to see.
I think that's gonna conclude our stream, though. Thanks for joining us again, Sammy. It's always a blast to come on. It's been too long. I feel like usually we have you on for poker or something, but just we've been busy
to be fair, I've been maxed out. You guys have probably been very busy as well, but yeah, I want to do more stuff. I just love going around the community, just seeing what people are up to. Like, I feel like even though I don't speak to anyone in a while, like it's never like I never have like an awkward time speaking. I just always say, like, what are you guys playing at the moment? Like, because that always used to make me laugh. Like, you guys were like, you're into like Chicken Derby, like heavily. Like, what are you guys doing?
Hell yeah.
Still in Chicken Derby. That the beta is actually kind of like finally. That's a game where it's like, yeah, it takes a long time to get this shit started. Like, I thought Chicken Derby was gonna be ready so much faster than it was. It actually makes me respect Zed Run. The fact that like Zed Run is as clean as it is, like Chicken Derby forever, just to be able to like enter a chicken into a race like without it like breaking like how much money you're getting paid out. Like just that whole system is like, okay, like Zed Run actually has a pretty solid product as far as that is. But Coin Pirates is kind of our newest thing.
Coin Pirates is fun.
I used to have so much Coin Pirate stuff. The price went mental. I was tempted to part with it for some doubloons, but I have I have my one ship, but I'm just getting lost in all the games at the moment, and I'm playing very little games other than Nova Rally, and I played Goldman that did pretty well on, but I still eventually it just comes down to mining, and I just don't have time.
Yeah, definitely. There's my DeFi Kingdoms. I still send my hero on like gardening quests pretty much every day in that one. Got up to level 10 already.
Harmony.
Feels good.
We're also big into like Defira now, but Defira hasn't launched their game yet. It's just like the platform.
Yeah, they're just liquidity mining at the moment. You could like mine some currency tokens there, but
they're pitching it as a mixture of like DeFi Kingdom and Axie Infinity is what the game's supposed to be like. Which it's like I don't know. You just kind of picked like two of the most popular projects. Generally, when people advertise like that, I'm skeptical, but I like the team behind it. So
what chain is it on?
That's on Harmony.
Harmony.
Harmony 1. It's like a Ethereum compatible like proof of stake sharding network. It's basically like Ethereum 2.0 but already up and running.
I get so lost. How have I not heard of this? I'm gonna go look it up. I'm always intrigued.
It's we're big on Harmony. A really functional blockchain.
I was really
the smart chains out there. It's the best.
I was really anti leaving Wax for a while, but like the reason Harmony is better for DeFi than Wax is because all DeFi is built on Ether. So all of those smart contracts just work on Harmony. Like you can literally send something to the Ether wallet, like the same Ether wallet just works on Harmony. So the tokens are all like pretty easy to bridge over. So like when you're participating in DeFi and Harmony, you're not just using Harmony tokens, you're using wrapped Ether, wrapped Bitcoin from the Ether blockchain. So you're able to do the same DeFi positions, like the same tokens from Ether on a different blockchain for less gas fees. And they don't need to do as much programming because it's not like EOSIO where like nothing on Uniswap works over on.
So huge protocols like Curve protocol runs on Harmony as well. So you can use Curve's like stable coin.
You can just copy and paste Ether over there and with less gas fees. So it's a kind of like right now no brainer as far as why.
Right now you could do, I think it's about 4,000 transactions. It'll cost you about 25 cents. So it still does cost gas for every transaction, but it's like so fractional and it's so functional too. Most of my transactions on that blockchain settle within 10 seconds. And If
The
they
funny
fail,
thing
I
is
just
that's still
reset
slow
my
compared to
cards.
Wax. Like we
Yes.
Yeah, it's slow
Wax
compared to
fine.
Wax.
It's like
But the
Wax.
thing is, like,
People don't know how
I
good
do that
Wax is
stuff.
until you leave Wax.
I mean, I do this type of DeFi stuff on like Binance Smart Chain,
Yeah.
Ethereum mainnet, and like Crypto.com's like Chronos network, and Harmony is like 10 times faster and 1,000 times cheaper than all of those. Well, maybe Binance Smart Chain, it's maybe like 100 times cheaper than Binance Smart Chain, but it's the cheapest and fastest option. I guess you could use Avalanche. That's really cheap and fast too, but yeah, Harmony's fun, and like GameFi is really kind of taking off there, and I do really like that idea of merging, like, you know, all the tedious click-based actions of performing DeFi activities, such as harvesting your yields from a money market protocol,
Yeah.
and turning that into like a click farm video game by just adding like skins and shit. Like literally what DeFi Kingdom is a fork of Uniswap, a distant fork of Uniswap that's dressed up like a video game. So instead of clicking on the swap in Uniswap, you just go to the marketplace and talk to the trader, and then it opens up the same interface. It's like a really intriguing concept where using like gaming to kind of make people more comfortable with very high concept finance stuff. In
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like what Our Planet was doing, but Our Planet is like it's like DeFi, fake DeFi under the guise of a game, DeFi within the game. This is real DeFi with the game built on top. So you're not like you're using it with Ether and Bitcoin instead of Ether. Like when you're playing.
Oh yeah. Like the DeFi Kingdom's swap liquidity pools are worth like $500 million. It's
I'll show it off
real,
really quick
real money.
so you can see what we're talking about. Yeah, it's like an 8-bit interface, but then like if you go to the marketplace, this is just the swap. If you go to the trader, and this is like your,
and there you go. It's just a
swap.
DeFi swap, and then
and
you
Druid
have
is where you pair liquidity, and then you get seeds, and then you take the seeds to the garden, and then when you put them in the garden,
and
you
then
can
you
see
farm
like
them. Yeah,
you get your APY and all that stuff. But it's just like it's DeFi built into a game, and then the governance token can also be used to buy NFTs, because there's NFTs in a game around this too. It's not just the
so you can supply liquidity in like Bitcoin and dollars or something like that, or Bitcoin and Ether pair, and then earn the in-game currency to buy an NFT without actually putting any money into the
these NFTs go on token faucet missions, and they get a bunch of tokens, and you can get like plants that make vials, and the vials can make potions. So like when later stuff in the game comes out, but it's basically just a token faucet game built on top of a DEX. But
I'm
it's
pretty
just
into
like
this.
it's pretty cool, and like we like it because we're into the DeFi side of it, and you can play this game with like your pools can be full of like one in Bitcoin. Like you don't need to buy some coin that you don't want to be holding on to. It's like, oh, I believe in these coins long term anyway, and I'm gonna be holding them, so I might as well farm them together and then be able to play this game on top of it.
That's awesome.
It's also hard to say the sustainability though, because like all this stuff kind of pumps and dumps. So like it's like I don't know, like long term what's gonna happen.
It's very like hype. It's you're winding in the hype of like these NFT games into a DeFi like system. So instead of like the in-game currency being just for in-game actions, like for example this DeFi Kingdom currency, what you can do with those currencies other than buy the NFTs and play the game side of it is you can like stake them, and staking them turns them and like gives them basically a 1/3 cut of all of the liquidity sourcing fees from the trading protocol. So there's $500 million worth of liquidity there being traded against to the tune of close to like $6 billion a week, and a third of that, what is it, 0.3% is paid to the liquidity sourcers, and a third of that goes into the staking thing. So there's actual like real quantifiable value that that token has before you add all the gaming stuff to it. And then it really goes bananas with the like speculation of like gaming as we've seen in like Wax and everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then you tie that into these assets. It's fucking nuts.
It's also kind of fun for us because like we've seen this happen on Wax a bunch of times. So like when Jules spiked up to $20, I was just selling all mine. I'm like,
you know
not
better
Ether
by now.
again. Like I know to get out now, and I can buy back when it drops again. Because like I feel like being on Wax has like created like the NFT side and the speculative side makes me able to do the investment side better because I know when to get out of the investment side based on like knowing the speculative market.
I've seen the hype and pump dump cycle so quickly play out in NFT spaces that you get like a crash course in how to like spot that stuff on the other side. Yeah,
One of
Crazy world.
my biggest regrets was not getting into Curve. Like when Curve I think first came out, I went on the website 4 different times and sat down and thought, no, this time I'm going to really learn how all this works and understand it. And then I just give up.
Yeah.
And then I saw then on Twitter like how much money people were making with fucking Curve, and I was like, oh
man, yeah,
should've
that's
done
rough.
that, but-
It sucks when you see that stuff so early on, and then just like, I don't know, I'll just wait, and then eventually,
I mean, it goes either way. I got some like Spacebud Cardano NFTs that are worth like fucking thousands and thousands, and I bought them for $40 after seeing them on a single Twitter post just pop up. I just bought them, so like it can go either way. But that's that stuff like that GameFi. Like if it was that, like, if you take that situation of, let's say I saw Curve and I saw that there was a game around it, and through that game I could learn how to use it and understand it, I would have got into it, you know. And that I think is why that GameFi concept is really good, because
I agree with that.
I would have got into it.
I think there's also a whole generation of like crypto enthusiasts and investors emerging that don't come from a financial background or
that's what I was about to say. It's like
at all.
I grew up playing video games. The younger generations are only getting video games faster on their phones and their mobile devices that they're getting like at very young ages. So I think like teaching people investment through gaming is going to be huge for like upcoming generations. Whereas like the generation above us doesn't really understand it. They're like, what the fuck is going on with like, what is our planet? What is all this shit? Why would anybody buy this stuff? It's crazy. But like, I think it's going to make more sense to younger people than it does to older people. So like this sort of stuff in the future is going to be big, but also who knows? Like
you become an adult and you don't even know how money works. Like, you got to like think about buying a place at some point, or get a lot. Like I don't even know how this stuff works. Like they didn't teach us any of this stuff. Like they could have just had us playing all these little farming DeFi games. We'd be experts by now. Like,
you understand these economies so well when it fucking like matters if I make a click, and because of the like speed all this shit moves, you get to like experience like how, you know, interest and how like compounding on that shit works really fucking real time, and it makes a lot of sense in the context of a video game. And I'm really excited for that. And like the big one that I've been pitching, even like on our streams recently in the last like few months, was the Tranquil protocol, which is also on Harmony, and that they're doing a GameFi now aspect, just like that DeFi Kingdoms thing. And that's really interesting to me, especially because they're building it, instead of building it around a swap protocol like the DeFi Kingdoms it's built around a money market protocol. And that protocol is a compound of is a fork of Compound on Ethereum, which is like probably the cornerstone of DeFi on Ethereum, with $10 billion in liquidity like supplied. So that protocol is probably my favorite DeFi platform, being forked onto my favorite blockchain for DeFi, which is Harmony. And then so I was way into that on that point. And then they're like, oh, we're gonna launch a game to like onboard like a GameFi aspect into this protocol. And that game, I think they launched the white paper and stuff for that on like Monday this week. So very early,
which I was talking about earlier, but that shit's so hyped right now. I don't think anybody should buy into
it. I wouldn't buy into it. I would just be aware of it. Like it's a
that's something like
concept.
I've been telling people, wait until the price crashes and try to buy in after the crash. That's like I would like to enter with more money, but right now is not the time, in my opinion. But not financial advice as always.
And the one about that is like they're gonna do a Generation 0 hero drop for people staking Tranquil tokens. So I've been stacking my Tranquil tokens into the staking process there, so I can hopefully get myself a Generation 0 hero. But the degen side of me that wants this fucking NFT is very much encouraged by the like responsible side of me, who looks at the like tokenomic value of that thing, where it's like, oh, owning like staking this Tranquil token gets you a dividend cut essentially of the money market itself. 75% of what the protocol collects gets paid out to stakers, and it gets paid out in the assets that it's collected in. So you collect from the staking, you earn Bitcoin, you earn Ethereum, you earn Harmony 1 token, you earn USDC, USDT, DAI, and then more Tranquil token, and the Defira token as well now for this game. So you earn all of those different tokens all at the same time, meaning that in order for you to capture the value from the staking, you don't have to put sell pressure onto the token that you're staking, meaning I'm a little bit more comfortable like aping into stupid shit like that for an
That's
NFT.
smart, actually. That's interesting. Like that's getting a spread of
Fascinating,
all
very
of the
unique.
tokens rather than just the one that you're dumping. Like, yeah, why is that
Yeah.
seems like such a simple idea.
Yeah.
Why is no one doing that before?
Right. So again, fascinating protocol. And before any of the game shit happened, they were doing that. And I was staking into that just for the distributed rewards from the Tranquil staking. Oh, and the staking does come with the lock. You have to lock the tokens for 6 months. After 6 months, you can unstake them at will. But before 6 months is up, if you do early unstake, it costs a 50% cut of your tokens, and those tokens get burned from circulation entirely. The 50% that gets like the early withdrawal fee. But I mean, it's a sound project with like open source code and a capable team, which I'm like into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And as a DeFi user, obviously I use a money market protocol, so I actually use their product. You know, I like if I make a trade, maybe I'll deposit that USDC into their money market and earn like 10% APY on it, which is great. It's better than my bank account.
Ramza said Nefty's kind of doing it with Nefty, which is true. You're gonna be able to stake Nefty and you earn wax on
Nefty's doing
Nefty
something
for
like
it.
that.
So like
That's a
you
great
don't
idea
need to
too.
sell off the Nefty to be able to like profit from it, which is a really smart thing. So people don't like. So if you stake Nefty, you get more Nefty for it. You're just gonna dump the Nefty to be able to make profit. But if
you
you
have
get
to
paid
dump it.
correctly for it, then
If you want
to
to capture any of the value you get from staking, if you're earning the staking return in the token you're staking, the only way to capture the value is by dumping your token. So you put negative you put sell pressure on the price of your token that you're trying to like build value for. I love this like idea of paying out in another currency. Our DAO does that too, I suppose. But our DAO is less.
I think we're getting too far into Harmony stuff.
Too far into DeFi and Harmony.
Yeah, so I was meant to go. I was just piqued my interest. I always just obsessed with just learning stuff.
Yeah,
all right.
definitely keep that on your radar. It's interesting.
I'm raiding into somebody playing Blankos. Everybody have fun watching them. We will be online tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time. But have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. But